the rest of the world's going to really shake if this place shakes. Because this place is so pivotal in the pulse of the world. It's setting the pulsation frequency. And so everybody's afraid of any collapse in the U.S.
Yes, it does seem that that is something that we're all postponing. But aren't there Masonic and secret societies that have been working behind the scenes to set up the United States and the various designs that they intended for this country in the first place?
Yeah, and honestly, what that means is you're talking about the realm of secret societies and of secret brotherhoods, and secret brotherhoods and secret societies are a very key part of what's going on.
That's one of the things that I find to be the most irritating of all the things that are going on here. The secrecy, the sickness of the secrecy, that everything is taken. We're treated like children who can't know anything, and everything is kept from us, whether it's something in the stars or UFOs or an ET presence or Area 51 or Area 52 or, various energy devices that have gone underground for over 60 years. And some people are aware of the idea that there's an entire galactic civilization that's formed right here with using the money that's been drained secretly. And so there's a lot of secrets that need to come out and be exposed. Is that something that you feel is important to have happen so that we can heal from this?
Yeah, it's an inevitable process. I don't want to get too caught up in star genesis and star language here, but it just so happens that last night Pluto went retrograde in 8 degrees of Capricorn. Whenever a major outer planet shifts from direct to retrograde or vice versa, goes to a station, as they call it, it's a big shift around here, in Pluto especially. And what Pluto's doing right at the moment is it's making everything we're talking about twice as intense and twice as real, because Pluto's like that. It just kind of brings you right down into it. So we're speaking together right now, right down into it. And yeah, from that place, we're essentially invoking directly, energetically, the end of the known world and the recreation of a world that we can be in, that's happening right in the weave of our lives without our physical selves really picking up on it.
Interesting. Very interesting. How long will Pluto be retrograde?
Pluto spends a few months retrograde. It spends a big part of its cycle retrograde. It likes to be retrograde. But it's the shifting moments when it does that, because it's like a tectonic shift. It's like everything, the whole balance of things shifts. Like what I feel today, different from yesterday, is I feel I've been in resistance to fast forward, which is the only speed that the world's going at.
Yes.
There's no other button to push anymore. It's just fast forward or fast forward. I decided to stop pushing buttons. So, so I've been resisting that until last night, literally. And I went through something last night and today where I get that I don't need to do that. I don't need to resist fast forward. Fast forward is doing fine. It'll do great with me if I don't have past memory things associated with it, like people going too far too fast and ending Atlantis and all that kind of stuff. But if I actually get it, that this is a speed culture and it has to run fast off that road in order to realize that it has died and be reborn.
Oh, okay.
So, we have to go fast to kind of burn up our karma and kind of get ourselves going
Yes, no kidding. And it seems that we've been living with, for so long, with denial and in the dream world, that we're having to condense a lot into a very short period of time because we had the luxury of not doing the self-examination for so long that it's all going to hit us right in the face. It's kind of like somebody's throwing a glass of cold ice water, and it might be boiling water for all I know. For some people it might be boiling water and scalding, and others it might be ice water. Now Mercury is retrograde too, isn't it?
Yes, and that doesn't mean what people think it means. What it basically means is that you get a chance to face truth 24 hours a day. It means that everything becomes deeply real. It's just that you can't get away from it, and people love to get away from things. So it's 3 weeks when you get hogtied to immediate existence and forced to experience it like being, tied on the rail, and you just got to stay there. You don't get to wiggle around. You spend 3 weeks, having to just face reality. Mercury is generally pretty restless. It's pretty mercurial in its energy, and so that part of us gets a little restless under constraint. But I find that my mind really appreciates it because the contemplative side of things then intensifies to meet this ridiculously thematic external, and so you get to actually become accelerated in your development during Mercury retrograde times if you're willing to face reality, if you're just willing to stay with what is. That's the actual program of Mercury retrograde. It's meant to teach people how to face things and move through things, but usually everybody resists it, and then it turns negative, which is it turns off all our machines and makes our minds crazy and kind of gets its revenge because Mercury is pretty intent upon getting through to us. And we're resisting it every time.
Yes, there does seem to be a lot of resistance.
We don't want to go through the change. We want to stay the same. That's what we say to Mercury. So Mercury gives us 3 weeks every few months to play it out. Now, I wish I knew more about astrology, but I don't.
Aren't there a lot of planets that are moving into or connecting to Aries at this time as well?
Yeah, we're in as I was joking about with someone in a reading here today, it's an Aries party. I was saying actually that it's a great Aries moving sail, and you're constantly moving somewhere, but you don't know where you're going. So that's the feeling of, to me, of the, to be humorous about it, of the Aries month, the Aries times we're in, that we're just in this immensely accelerated process, but we're moving everywhere, but where are we going?
That's a good question. I wish I knew.
Wow. And I say that as someone with strong Aries in my chart, and I know Aries really well. I'm not opposed to Aries at all, but it can be a little random, chaotic, wild, and raunchy. So each of us needs to kind of balance out and become a little bit more internally receptive rather than always putting out the next energy thing.
Well, my best friend who's listening, who's in Aries, will probably appreciate hearing some information about what's going on with the planet.
Yes.
She's doing very well with it, by the way.
Yeah, it's a very immense time to be in.
Mm-hmm. Well, don't you? I mean, I have to just guess that you would also feel that at the soul level, we chose this time to incarnate for the experience that we're having as part of the reason why we're here now.
Absolutely.
Okay. And concurrent with that choice, it seems that we were possibly chosen as well for whatever reason, out of the bajillions of souls that were lined up waiting to jump in and do their thing. We might have had some kind of special skills that would be helpful as well to be of service to the rest.
You know, I feel like the real story of what we're going through right now is so much more compelling than what we've yet been telling ourselves. We have been in this shell-shock state really since September 2001. We've been in this shell-shock state, and we haven't quite gotten perspective on anything. But when I step back a little and experience things, there's something so much bigger going on than we're telling ourselves. Do you realize that? We're in at the beginning stages of the hugest change this world has ever seen. And it's not going to be easy, and it's not going to be kind. But it is going to be true and loving.
Can you elaborate on that a little bit?
Yeah. It's going to be true and loving in that, to accentuate the positive. The way of things is that each one of us has a heart truth. And like an essence heart truth. And that essence heart truth is what we really carry as our treasure, as our gift, as our offering. And then we sort of surround it with these protective guardians of all these other parts of ourselves too. You know, it's like we're living in a garden at the center in an enchanted way, and all around us there's all these sentinels doing all these things to keep our world going. But we're really living in this sanctuary at the center. And that one, if you're following me, that heart essence, that one at the center, that one that stays in our heart, stays in the center of things, that one, and is always true to self in some deep inner level, that one is really the one who is being selected out in evolution as who we really are, and everything else is being cast away. All we get to be is our heart essence. Everything we think we are is actually not real. But we are that heart essence. So